Hello again, everyone, and welcome to the Galen Snyder Show. I'm Vince Reed, and along with my engineer, Mike Samsel, we're being brought to you by Aria Health, your neighbors here in Bucks County, ready to serve you when you need them. Well, we're heading into the downside of the season when it comes to the last 3 regular season games in the Suburban One League National Conference, and just about every other league is going to be wrapping it up at the same time. Had a good season so far, but there's plenty of football to go. And of course, this time around, Pennsbury is going to be playing on a Saturday night as they take on Council Rock North. It's going to be homecoming for the Pennsbury team, of course, and it should be a good crowd on hand. It should be a very good ball game coming up as well. We're going to talk to Coach about that game coming up, and also we'll talk a little bit about how this team has come along so far in this first 7 games of the season. And Coach, when we look at it right now, a loss in the opener to Easton, and after that you've been able to run the table thus far, and certainly the improvement seems to be there.
Well, every week we talk about it, and we're real pleased with the improvements the boys have made week to week, and they come up with some big wins, and so we're pretty excited coming into homecoming here, going against a good Council Rock team.
You look at the season right now and the way it's going. When you look at it ahead of time, you had a lot of youngsters. You had sophomores and juniors playing. You had so many guys that are new on defense. When you look at it right now, the way the team is playing and the way they've come along, just like the last few games, they've had some shutouts. They've been really, scoring, which we knew they could. Would you have thought that this team would be right now where they are coming into this ball game?
Well, it's a little surprising. We knew we had some good players. We knew coming into the season we had a good group of leaders as seniors. We knew we had a lot of, though many unproven but talented younger players. So overall, I guess, and we're definitely pleased by it, pleasantly pleased.
When you look at it right now as the team has rolled along, and you go against William Tennant last week, and of course you did what you had to do. As I talked to a couple of kids after the ball game, it was do business as usual and get the job done. Take on a team that really you're supposed to beat and be able to do it. And they did it in a big way with a shutout too as well in that ball game. So the kids feel good about themselves. I can tell by talking to them after the ball game, and then also at our coaches roundtable show, they seem to really feel good about this ball club.
Well, I guess they should. They, I think it's unexpected. I don't even know if they expected us to be playing this well at this point in the season. So I guess they should be excited about it. We're just going to try to keep working hard and keep going week to week. We got a big challenge coming up here with Rock North, so we'll see how it goes.
What do you attribute the fact that you might say you got off to a quicker start this year? Usually it's been a case of where, that first game and you've been playing Easton, a good team, put in a good showing against Easton, but the defense we knew at that point hadn't played together, and 9 of them were new. But when you came down to it after that ball game, you have a Frankfurt, you have a Downingtown East, you get into the league play. Did you think that this ball club, especially the defense, would come along as quickly as it did?
Well, the defense struggled early against a good Easton team, but continued to get better week to week, starting with Frankfurt and then Downingtown East. Then we really started to get on a roll, especially when we hit Abington. Offensively, the couple things we had going for us early on were the fact that we did have a lot of returners on the offensive line. And we did have a quarterback coming back. So, from a continuity standpoint, having those types of things, gave us hope that we could, at least control the ball, put some points on the board, maybe earlier than we usually do.
When you look at it, that last ball game, of course you had Ronquay Smith in there getting you a couple of touchdowns in the first quarter, and Chuck Snorway, as I said, not to be denied, he had to get his couple too. In the second quarter, you had that game out of reach by halftime in that ball game. But these guys right now are clicking on all cylinders when it comes down to it. And of course your line is opening up holes, and it's been tough to stop your ball club offensively.
Yeah, last week I know one of our captains was a little banged up, Micah Mollahan, so we had our second tight end, our backside tight end, Mitchell August. Yeah, he came in and played, did a real nice job at guard for Micah, and the offensive line didn't miss a beat. Now we're going to be getting Micah back this week, but we know that Mitchell can do a number of things for us as well. So yeah, we were pleased.
All right, we're going to be back with more here on the Galen Snyder Show. Coming up is, of course, our bowl game will be coming up on Saturday night, and that's going to be the Council Rock North team taking on Pennsbury, and that'll be, of course, homecoming for the Falcons. We'll be back after this from ARIA Health.
At an orthopedic institute, world-class specialists, surgeons, and technology are a must. Personal care is too. The ARIA 3B Orthopedic Institute is redefining care in Center City, Bucks County, and South Jersey. With over a century of experience, the 3Bs, Doctors Booth, Bartolozzi, Balderston, and their partners personally guide you from treatment through recovery. For joint replacement, sports medicine, spine care, and more, call 1-888-ORTHO-3B or visit aria3bortho.org. At the ARIA 3B Orthopedic Institute, you come first.
And we're back once again here with the Galen Snyder Show. And of course, the team we're taking on this weekend for him is going to be Council Rock North and the Indians. Coach, tell us a little bit about that. I know you had a chance to scout them a little bit and what you see in this Council Rock North ball club.
Well, I see a team that has, they start off, their quarterback, they got a good, solid quarterback who, is one of the leading passers in the league. You also have some pretty good skilled guys around them. They run a spread type offense, but they run the ball a lot. They're a little bit like the Eagles in that sense. It's a spread, but they like to keep the ball on the ground a lot, at least more recently. So they offer some interesting challenges for us.
When you look at this, of course, Brandon McElwain is the quarterback, of course, that we're speaking about. He's just a sophomore and, of course, made his debut last year as a freshman, had himself a good season and having another good one, and he's considered to be one of the top quarterbacks in the Delaware Valley. And you look at him and he's young. What do you take from, what he can do as far as that goes and what you got to worry about as far as your defense is concerned?
Well, he's kind of similar to our quarterback in the sense that he's a dual threat. He's, a kid who can get the ball, throw the ball down the field. He can also run the ball, so there's, obviously you have to account for him.
Any particular receivers that he likes to go to as far as that goes that you noticed in the ball games?
Well, the kid Martin, the senior, that they try to get him the ball, whether it's McElwain throwing it to him or they'll take the receiver, put him in motion, run some of their fly sweeps. That's the kid they want to get to out on the edge.
We noticed that, as you mentioned, some guys are getting in there a little bit more. This kid's Chris Weldy as well is getting in there. He's getting some more time. I noticed the last couple of ball games and picking up some more stats, so he's playing a little more.
Yeah, he's a tough, hard-nosed runner. They try to use him for a lot of the inside running game, and they use Martin outside, and then McElwain runs both inside and out.
When you look at your team so far, you take a look, and I think really the secondary has done a nice job in covering everybody. When you look at them now, they have to cover these receivers. What's your thought on the way your secondary has really responded for you so far this year?
Well, first and foremost with Rock, we have to stop the run, and then after that, things will take care of themselves. I think that our secondary has done a real nice job handling some skilled guys from some of these teams they faced, and this will be a challenge as well.
Looking at the team here as a whole, as far as they go defensively, where do you feel that Council Rock North has its biggest strength?
Well, they have some size up front, so for a team that wants to maybe run directly at them, like Ben Salem was doing last week. Ben Salem had some early success, and then running the ball against them. But then they tightened things up, and started sending some people, blitzing some people, things like that, and then they were able to shut down Ben Salem's running game.
How are they as far as you're concerned, size-wise, when it comes to their offensive line?
The offensive line is, they have some size. They get a mixture. They get a couple of the guards are a little bit smaller than the tackles, but they're a little bit more mobile. Similar to us in that sense. But, good-sized team. Got some good ball players. They're 5-2. They're doing well. They're shooting for the playoffs, so it's going to be, and of course, it's a rivalry game, so it should be an interesting one.
Yeah, you look at, of course, over the years, Council Rock, I remember when it was one school, of course, against Pennsbury, and always had some great rivalry games there with those two teams. Of course, this is going to be homecoming for you as well. We expect a packed crowd to be out there for this ball game. And you look at Council Rock now, and having the fact that they've lost a few ball games, they've got to come in here, and really, I guess you can't afford to really lose again.
Well, yeah, I guess, they really could, though. If they lose to us, I guess they'll have 3 losses. If they win their next 2, which are quite possible, they could end up, with a 7-3 record and make the playoffs. Of course, that would also involve them beating their arch rival, Rock South, which you know how those games go. throw the records out the window and you know, those types of games. So obviously, any loss at this stage of the season is tough, but you know, could they rebound? I guess they could, but I'm sure they don't want to.
When you look at it, I was looking at the fact that you had a chance there in the last couple of ball games to bring in some new faces, have a chance to run the ball for you, and also bring in some new guys on the line as well. That offensive line, and you get a chance to put some new people in there in late ball games like this past one since you had the lead. What's your thoughts about what you have backup-wise with this ball club?
Well, I do think we have some depth. You know, we have, as I've said many times, you know, we have a lot of younger players playing for us, and there's some young guys who are, you know, right on the verge of being starters for us. Who some of them get a chance to go out and play with the second team, and you know, some of them are sophomores and whatnot. And you know, they're going to be poised to push for spots next year, and some of them even by the end of this year.
Yeah, I was looking at it because you had a chance to put some of those guys in the last couple of ball games, and I noticed about the fact that, and a nice thing too for you is the fact that you're getting a look at these kids and giving them an opportunity to play, and from what I can see, they're not too far away from, like you said, being right there and getting an opportunity to play right there with the first unit.
Yeah, there's a couple right on the verge of doing that, and you know, we'll see. Maybe we can work them in a little bit here as we go towards the end, getting ready. Starting out this week with a big homecoming game.
All right, we're going to be back with more here on the Galen Snyder Show, but first this word from ARIA Health.
The ARIA 3B Orthopedic Institute is redefining care in Center City and South Jersey. And our 50,000 square foot location on ARIA Health's Bucks campus in Langhorne features private rooms, free parking, and nearby hotels. With over a century of experience, the world-class 3Bs, Doctors Booth, Bartolozzi, Balderston, and their partners personally guide you from treatment through recovery. For all your orthopedic needs, call 1-888-ORTHO-3B or visit aria3bortho.org. At the ARIA 3B Orthopedic Institute, you come first.
I'm Vince Reed, back again with Galen Snyder, the Galen Snyder Show here, brought to you by ARIA Health, your neighbors here in Bucks County. And talk about a little bit, Coach, this ball club and the way they've come along so far this season. And when you look at this and the rest of the season, you've got Council Rock here, you got Ben Salem away, and of course you got Neshaminy. A lot of people talking, of course, about, and they should be when it comes down to it, when you look at it, as that big one at the end of the season, of course, against the Redskins, which are currently undefeated. But when you look at it, too, you've got Council Rock North, which is capable, and Ben Salem is a team that you just don't know. They put it all together and don't make mistakes. They could be tough, too.
Sure. Ben Salem's always got tough kids. Rock North has a good team, so you can't look past anybody. I know we have Neshaminy looming on the horizon, and that's going to be a big game, but you know, you got to take care of business first. You know, they have a couple big games. They play Ben Salem, and then they have Abington. So, you know, both teams have to sort of take care of business here, getting ready to finish up the season.
When you look at the team and the way they've gone so far this year, what's the biggest thing you feel that, you know, got into place right away and has really been consistent for you offensively and defensively?
Well, I just think the effort has been real good the whole season. I think the focus, other than maybe one half of football, has been there. And, you know, so if you have effort and you have focus from your team and, you know, they want to do well, there's, you know, good camaraderie amongst them, you know, you have a chance.
You know, you look at some of the teams you played, of course, and Easton was one, Frankfurt for another, and they're teams that right now that, you know, also could get in there to the playoffs.
Oh, they'll definitely both be in the playoffs. I mean, Frankfurt, I think, is in the clear lead in the public league, and Easton dropped one game when the running back didn't play, but, you know, they'll be a team that they'll have to account, other teams will have to account for come playoff time.
You know, we mentioned about the fact that, you know, when you play those tough teams at the beginning, how much it's meant to you and your ball club when you get ready for league play. And I think it bears fruit when you take a look at the teams that you played and have that opportunity to get into playoffs as well. And you see how well they're doing. I checked Frankfurt there last week, another big win for them, and they're winning nicely. And you look at the Easton Ball Club, which has just been a power. I would think that right now, if you got the opportunity, it's way down the road, wouldn't be bad to either have a matchup with those two again, because I think the Easton one, I think you're much different now than you were the opening game.
Well, that would be in the state semifinals if that happens. So yeah, I would definitely take that.
Yeah, you'd like to get that far.
Sure. they're both good ball clubs, and you know, Downingtown East had a couple tough weeks there, but
Yeah.
you know, the other week they almost beat Coachville,
Right.
14-7 against the defending Eastern Region champion. You know, so they had them on the ropes. So they're a good club too. But once again, we've talked about it. You know, playing those teams out of league to begin with prepares you for the league schedule.
I know, happened to notice there that the standings right now, when it looks at the 16 teams will make up the playoff schedule as far as that goes in Quad A, and you're tied with two other teams there, CB West along with the Abington Ball Club for that 6th spot, 6, 7, and 8. But I also looked down and see where Penn Ridge would just get in, but if things didn't go right, North Penn would not get in. And usually North Penn, of course, they still have a chance to get in. They have a good ball club. They're coming back again. But it's interesting to see that a couple of teams there that you thought might be fighting for the championship over there, and maybe they're having a tough time at the Continental Conference too.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. There's 3 weeks left. North
Yeah.
Penn, I think, still has to play CB West. And,
Right.
I guess North Penn and Penn Ridge play one another. You know, like I said, we'll see what it all shakes out, what happens there. I know CB South had a good team, but you know, they've been kind of banged up too, injury-wise, lost their top guys. So, no, we'll see. You don't know till all the next 3 weeks.
Yeah, that's because the big ones are all coming up, as everybody knows, in the next few weeks, including this one here, where Council Rock North comes to town here on Saturday night to take on the Pennsbury Falcons in their homecoming ball game. We're looking forward to it, Coach. I'm sure a packed house looking forward to it too. Good luck in this one.
Thanks, Vince.
The Galen Snyder Show, and I'm Vince Reed, and of course our engineer as well, Mike Samsel, all brought to you by ARIA Health, your neighbors here in Bucks County. If you need assistance, the place to go is ARIA Health. They're ready to help you. Don't forget, we'll be joining you again next week, but right now we'll go back to football. Ready to go here on a Friday night as we get set for our opening for the weekend. And Pennsbury plays Saturday night for homecoming, and that'll be, of course, against the Council Rock North Ball Club. We'll have that game on the air as well. Have a good evening.